Dear students, today we are going to study a new poem. I know why the caged bird sings, written by Maya Angelou. She is an Afro-American writer. Maya Angelou's poem revolves around the theme of the freedom and slavery. The theme extends to the painful aspects of slavery, injustice ranging from discrimination, segregation, racism, poverty, abuse, insecurity, and its consequences. It is a powerful expression of the voice of Black Americans and their struggle for freedom. Here, the poet describes about two types of birds. The first bird, that is the free bird, represents white American, while the caged bird represents Black Americans. The free bird leads the life of dignity, grandeur, and infinite possibilities. The caged bird leads life of fear, longing, and subjugation. Let us go to the poem in detail. The stanza 1. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends, and dips his wing in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. The free bird is flying along in the current of the air. When the steady onward flow of the wind ends, the bird lowers his wings in the orange sun rays of the sky and suddenly lifts himself to move up in the sky. Here, the reader is meant to compare a free bird to a free person. The poetess describes a free bird's movement in the sky. The description is made lively by using verbs like leaps, floats, dips, and dares. These words express qualities of freedom the bird enjoys. There is no worry, trouble, or fear. The free bird is a symbol of freedom, and these well chosen verbs are especially meaningful because they contain joy and energy. The free bird dares to claim the sky means he does what he wants and his freedom. He feels that the sky belongs to him. Now, let us move to the second stanza. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The scene shifts to a cage. Being encaged, the bird's wings are clipped and his feet are tied. Therefore, he can only stalk down his narrow cage and can see but little beyond what is visible through the bars. Therefore, the lone ability that he is left with, he uses and sings. The second bird is entirely different from the first one. The contrast is striking. The first bird lies smoothly, whereas the second one's wings are clipped and is caged. Wings give freedom to fly. The words and expressions stalks, narrow cage, birds of rage, clipped, feet are tied give a picture of lack of freedom of a bird in contrast with the joy of the free bird. The word stalk suggests that the bird is moving in a creeping, unhappy way. Moving to the third stanza, the caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. The caged bird sings in a fearful tone about unknown things that exist outside of his cage and strongly desires to know everything beyond the cage. The bird's song is heard far away on the hill. he sings about his longing for freedom. The bird with wings clipped, movements restricted, sings because his dreams are dead and lie in a heap at his feet. The bird's fearful and trill makes us realize that actually it is not a happy tune but a desperate cry for freedom. The bird trapped in the cage, unable to experience the same world that the free bird has access to. The bird is trapped and meant to be a metaphor for humans oppressed in an unjust society. Angelo is certainly applying this metaphor to her life and the oppression she has witnessed as African American. Moving to the fourth stanza, the free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on a dawn bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. The free bird recalls another breeze he has experienced that has helped him to fly freely through the air. The breeze describes the light and flowing wind that he has experienced early and wishes to experience again. The breeze and the trade winds go past the trees. The free bird likes to take control of the sky and thinks of scenes like the fat worms waiting on the lawns for him to feed on and the branches of the tree to sit and rest. The bird means to say that he owns the sky. The free bird is brought up later on in the poem for a second time. This instance describes what the bird is thinking about. The breeze and fat worms in the poem represents hope and opportunity. They are metaphors for all the hope and opportunities that the free people have that are denied to those in bondage. The poetess strengthens the depiction of the free bird as strong, confident, and determined by stating that he names the sky his own. There is no limit on his freedom. Moving to the fifth stanza. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams. His shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied. So he opens his throat to sing. The fifth stanza returns to the image of the caged bird once again. These lines paint such a vivid image of dreams that cannot be fulfilled. He stands on a grave where his dreams are buried. The shadow of the bird utters a shrill, nightmarish cry, standing on the grave of dreams. The poet again reminds the bird's wings are clipped and the feet are tied. Though he has nothing left physically, he still has his voice. Therefore, he does the only thing that he could do, sing from his throat as loud as possible. A grave is a symbol of death and is rather grim. The grave streams is powerful imagery that suggests that bird trapped behind bars is forced to bury whatever dreams it has beneath its feet. It shows that an environment where dreams can be fulfilled. The tone of the poem here shifts to one of despair. In the previous stanza, the bird took control of the sky, whereas the dreams were killed by its inability to experience freedom. By repeating line 14 two times, the poetess reaffirms the idea that the caged bird's desire for freedom cannot be contained. Let us move to the sixth stanza. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown, but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. His sixth stanza is a repetition of the third stanza, which is in turn a bold assertion of the agency of the caged bird. The replication of the song of this caged bird and the surety of the song's effectiveness reflects the speaker's strong faith in the power of the bird's song. The poem, moving between images of birds both free and caged, and feelings of hope and despair, ends with one strong and powerful word, freedom. This word represents not only the caged bird's aspirations, but also everyone held back by whatever barriers they may be burdened with. Angelo's emphasis, this word points out the central theme that her poem is meant to represent, freedom. Now let us have a quick revision. Thank you.